Guys, Pastor Steve here. It is June 4th, 2018. And although I'm live on Facebook, I'll put this up on my YouTube channel just as soon as I'm done. It's about 2:30 Arizona time. Just want to recap the last couple of 2 weeks, world events and stuff you already know. But I kind of like to, I don't know if God's given me a gift or what, but I kind of like to connect the dots. And this last dot, when I get to it, I love to be wrong. It won't bother me a bit to be wrong about this, but I'm starting to think stuff's going on. Let me get right into it. Yesterday, you might have saw my report of this child trafficking, child sex dungeon right up here just north of me. I actually live, and by the way, broadcasting for the very first time, well, first time on this channel anyway, from our new church building right here in Green Valley, Arizona. This is my new office, and I'll let you look around as soon as I get everything decorated. Don't really have it decorated yet. But, yeah, this is new headquarters. Kind of happy about it. And, well, we're just very blessed and grateful to the Lord for everything we have. All right. So yesterday I go up roughly about 14 miles north of me, just south of Tucson, in an abandoned mine / cement factory. Now, the fact that it's a cement factory is going to play into something in just a minute. It's a factory owned by the CEMEX, C-E-M-E-X. It's a Mexican cement factory. And, of course, I was there. You saw the report. You watched my video. It's the real deal, folks. There's no doubt, even though the local law enforcement is trying to just play it off as, it's no big deal, it's just a homeless camp. It wasn't a homeless camp. The homeless camps don't have these things. Now, the interesting thing is, if you're from Southern Arizona or you've been here for any length of time, we've been talking about this stuff for years and years and years. It's nice to have a president in the White House who actually cares and doesn't just give lip service to the problem of illegal immigration. I'm all for immigration, but come here legally, just like my grandparents did. Story for another day. No doubt in my mind that there was children held in this facility, in this underground bunker. It was literally a septic tank, if you can believe that. But the way it was laid out, the folks there at VOP, Veterans on Patrol, they have a lot of evidence. For whatever reason, the local law enforcement doesn't want to get involved. Is it because they're all being paid off by the cartels? I don't know. I can't make assumptions, but there's something wrong. I mean, for them to not even bring out a cadaver dog when there's obvious signs of freshly dug graves right there in Tucson. You watch the videos, keep an eye on VOP. They're the ones that are spearheading this whole thing. I just happen to live here, so I wanted to go and check the veracity. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't putting out everything I give you on my Facebook news page and everything I hope on Pastor Steve YouTube channel. I hope, if I make a mistake, at least I like to admit it. So check out the videos on that, keep abreast of that, and help us spread the word. Those of us that have lived here for any length of time in Southern Arizona, we're used to this stuff. We're used to the rape trees. We're used to the illegal immigration. We've been trying to tell the rest of the country how bad it is, and maybe, just maybe, we finally may get some national attention brought to this, and hopefully that will bring attention. It's real, folks. I have an acquaintance who recently believes that an attempt was made to kidnap her daughter in Tucson. She claims that she called the police and they did absolutely nothing. They didn't come out. Basically just told her, come down to the station, fill out a report. That's pretty typical of our experiences here in Southern Arizona with law enforcement when it comes to this stuff. It's just so commonplace. This is why so many people carry guns down here. You need to pretty much protect yourself, but I digress. All right, so here's what's interesting. And again, I'm connecting the dots. The underground dungeon, the sex trafficking cave that I was at yesterday and that you're hearing and reading about all over the place is on a property owned by CEMEX. Once again, CE for cement, MEX for Mexican. It's a Mexican-owned cement factory. Now today we see reports in Miami, Florida, at another CEMEX location of a body being found in a van You can Google this, and I'll put links on the YouTube channel. I think that's already up on my Facebook channel. But now we're finding, now we hear today that a body was burned beyond recognition, found in a burned out van on another CEMEX property in Miami, Florida. Coincidence? Kind of doubt it. You know, Occam's razor says, it's a theory that says basically the most logical explanation is usually the correct one. So, you know, again, we want to tie that together. Now, skipping, onto a different subject. I highly recommend Suspicious Observer. A guy by the name of Ben, Dr. Ben, I think his last name is Carson, I'm not sure. But I watch his channel often, and I recommend his channel. He is not a Christian, not that I'm aware of anyway. He doesn't claim to be. And but he has some really interesting stuff. He has just recently been posting an awful lot of stuff about the soon coming magnetic reversal that's coming to the entire globe, the entire Earth. If you're not aware, just do some research. The entire poles are beginning to shift. And so eventually when it finally shifts, this happens in the sun all the time. The north becomes south, south becomes north. It happens on the sun quite often, but it's a rare event. I shouldn't say rare. It happens at the Earth, but not nearly as frequently. They say, last I read anyway, that the statistics always change, but they say it's about every 10,000 years that our poles shift. So if our poles were to shift and you had a compass in your hand, north would be pointing what is now south, and south would be pointing north. You guys get it. You're smart. So this is happening, and we know that it's happening. Again, I recommend magneticearthreversal.com. I believe that's the correct. I'll look all this stuff up, and hopefully I'll put it on the YouTube website. But a Suspicious Observer channel, he's talking about this a lot. Now, these earthquakes, we always have, I'm going to shut this air conditioner off for a second. It's not that cold. It's not that hot in here. We always have, you know, earthquakes, but the amount of earthquakes that we've had, and of course, those of you familiar with Matthew 24, I'll read that to you too, just to reinforce this. But the amount of earthquakes that are currently happening around the world, pretty significant. Not to mention the Mount Kilauea in Hawaii, the big island there. And of course, now we know that this lava, you probably read this as well if you're on my Facebook page, my news page anyway. The lava is coming close to the main power plant that supplies electricity to the entire island. If that lava destroys that power plant, and as I told my assistant here, Shauna, if that lava destroys that power plant, I believe, if I read correctly, the entire island's power, no electricity, it'll be gone, and it'll be gone for months, if not years. It's about, last I saw, about 100 yards away and showing no signs of stopping. Read the article. It says they're trying to plug up. They have wells at this power plant that go down 8,000 feet. And of course, when the lava pours into the wells, it's going to hit the water. The water's going to explode. Boom, bam, boom. Not going to be fun. So I'm thinking here, sitting here, trying to connect these dots. What in the world is going on? Then, just about an hour ago, Dabu7, most of you are familiar with his YouTube channel. Again, I highly recommend Dabu. Dabu's the guy who actually put me on the map in YouTube, and I greatly appreciate that. And of course, he reports that a 10,000-kilometer fissure has just opened up in Kenya. Now, there's also a giant fissure that just opened up in Arizona. And there are fissures. These are giant cracks in the earth that are opening up, it seems, exponentially to me. So my question is, connecting the dots, and again, I hope I'm wrong, but are we now in the throes of this magnetic pole reversal? We know that it's been speeding up exponentially. So in other words, maybe it was, I'll just make this up, okay? Maybe it was 10 feet every year. Now it's 30 feet every year. And now all of a sudden it's 130 feet every year that this reversal is starting to happen. Those are not the real numbers, but you get what I'm saying. It's happening exponentially. Now we have a volcano in Hawaii that is causing devastating effects. Prayerfully, pray for those folks that are on the island. somebody that works here at my church is her daughter actually lives on the Big Island right now, so we're going to keep her up in prayer, of course. And then we had another giant earthquake, volcano in Guatemala. And so this has killed, I believe, last I heard, about 68. I'm pretty sure it's Guatemala. I could be wrong about that. I just decided to go on live, just to do it off the top of my head. So if I have anything wrong, I apologize, but I'll correct it in post. I don't know, man. Are we there? Is this what Jesus was telling us about? You're familiar with these verses, but let me read it. Let me read a couple to you, if you don't mind. Matthew chapter 24, verse 6. You shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled. This is what I try and tell my congregation every Sunday. I know in whom I have believed, and I am persuaded that he is able to keep that which he has promised. For those of you that know the Lord, he has promised to keep you. Economy crashes, World War III, I'm not going to worry about it. Neither is anybody in my church, I hope. Why? Because the Bible says, I've never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. If you're a believer in Christ, you have nothing to fear from what we know is coming. Is this it? I don't know. I'd love to be wrong. But I'm wondering if this magnetic pole reversal isn't more than what they're telling us. Especially when you look into some of the other things that are going along with the government and building tunnels. And just Google the Denver airport and what's underneath the Denver airport. I don't have time to get into it. See that you be not troubled. Jesus said, for all these things must come to pass. Is it happening now? But the end is not yet. So this isn't the end. This just may be the beginning of the end. For nation shall rise against nation. We always have that, of course, but we really have it right now. All these things are the, 8th verse, beginning of sorrows. For they shall deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you. Politically correctness. Thank God we just had a Supreme Court decision today that ruled in favor of this Christian baker. And, I wasn't going to talk about this, but, the idea that these two gay people, I think it was two men, maybe it was two women, I don't know, but they went to a Christian baker. They went out of their way to this Christian baker to ask him to make a homosexual wedding cake. He refused based on his religious beliefs. One man, one woman. That's God's definition of marriage. That's Pastor Steve's definition of marriage. After all, it's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. Then they shall deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you. We're not far away, are we? The hatred on the left, the evil that's rising in this country. It's unstoppable. It's going to happen. Do you know the Lord? Because if you know the Lord, I'm telling you, everything going to be all right, man. And you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. 10th verse. Then shall many be offended. Political correctness. I'm offended. Don't get me started. And they shall betray one another, shall hate one another, and many false prophets shall arise. Let me just skip over to where is it part about the earthquakes? Hang on just 1 second. Praise for tribulation, great tribulation. Give me a second here. I'm not used to using this Bible except those. Okay, here we go. For then there shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor ever shall be again. And except those days be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, that's me and you, those of us that know Christ, we're the elect. Those days shall be shortened. So he's talking about great earthquakes, such as the earth has never seen nor ever will see again. And I'm just wondering, we know that this magnetic reversal is happening. It's a scientific fact. I have a buddy that works for the Federal Aviation Administration. And I asked him about renumbering runways. The runways are pretty much on magnetic compasses. So again, I'm making this up. I'm not a pilot, but basically, the air traffic control will tell the pilot, yeah, come in runway 227 north. Well, that's actually a degree heading based on the magnetic reality of it. Now 227 north in many airports is being changed to, and again, I'm making this up, instead of being 227 north, it's now 223 north, or whatever the case may be. The Earth's core is shifting. And so this magnetic reversal, as it creeps along inside the Earth, many scientists, and I'm not sure if Suspicious Observer is one of them, but many scientists have said at some point it's going to just flip like a rubber band. So it's like stretching a rubber band. Let me see if I can get my fingers on. You know I'm Italian. I got to talk with my hands. But so as this magnetic reversal begins to strain against itself, at some point, hi, Angie, how are you? My daughter Sarah's here and Angie's here. At some point, it's going to flip. And when it does, many scientists say it's going to create an earthquake such as the world has never seen. Now, they say this happens every 10,000 years. We don't have a lot of human history going back 10,000 years. We have human history going back about 6,000 years. And I'm not going to get into how old the earth is and all that kind of nonsense. But Jesus warned us about this. Matthew 24. I'm just trying to connect the dots. Fissures opening up in Kenya. Arizona, fissures. Earthquakes just popping off. Now, the skeptical say, you're just making something out of nothing. Look, I hope I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong. When I connect the dots like this, there are times when I have been wrong. So I'm no prophet. I'm not claiming to be a prophet. I'm just asking you two things. Do you know the Lord? Are you saved? And are you ready? What do you mean by that, Pastor Steve? Look, there's nothing wrong with storing up a couple days worth of water, a couple days worth of batteries, a couple days worth of food. You do it in threes. You do it in 3 days supply, or a 3-week supply, or a 3-month supply. If you have children and you're not putting canned goods away, you're doing your kids a disservice. If you're not tucking away fresh water, if things go south, and I think they might, if things continue on this course, water is going to be more valuable. Clean drinking water is going to be more valuable than gold. All right, look, I don't know. Like I said, I'm just simply, that's Kimberly too. I'll be darned. The whole family's, we're getting the band back together. Kimberly, I hope you're doing all right. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to put this up on the YouTube channel right now. Reporting from my brand new headquarters, my brand new office, our brand new church, which we all love and cherish so much. It really is the end of the world as we know it, but I feel fine. I hope you do too. God bless, and we'll see you soon.